Hey guys, what's up? It's Dread. So today I have a guide on how to level your jewel crafting in TBC. So I've seen quite a few guides out there. They're not necessarily the greatest, so I went ahead and just tested it for myself. I noticed they were using a lot of mats that you really didn't need, so I just ended up doing it myself, finding out which mats you really did need, what would be the cheapest, and what would be the best, and maybe even if you can resell and make some money back. So let's get into it. So first off, these are all the materials you will need to get to 300. You're able to farm all of it right now in Classic, so I would recommend preparing for TBC. Get that done while you can. It's going to be cheap right now. I will imagine it'll get more expensive as TBC gets closer. So you can get like the copper bars, the rough stone for real cheap, thorium, elemental water for real cheap. You don't necessarily need 40 blue sapphires, but if you can get that, great. They'll probably go up in price. But other than that, I would just focus on getting most of the green gems that you see here on this list, as well as the thorium and maybe some ore that you want to be able to prospect. And you can get a lot of gems out of that as well. So as far as the TBC materials go, you can really make any green gems and you'll be able to level up. Same with the blue ones. Most of the blue gems are world drops, so to get those recipes, it'll just be kind of random, so whatever ones you get first, go ahead and make those, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But other than that, just focus on getting whichever green or blue gems, and you will probably need most of the other materials on the list as well. So this first part is the easiest. From 1 to 20, you just need to make 20 delicate copper wires. Each one requires 2 copper bars, so 40 total. Make sure you do save these, you will need them later. Again, you should have all the mats from earlier, so just use the copper bars that you have from earlier. So the next part is still pretty simple. From 20 to 30, you just need to make 10 rough stone statues. Each of them requires 8 rough stone. It comes from mining copper, so it should be super cheap. Get this while you can before TBC comes out. You will then need to purchase a jeweler's kit and a simple grinder in order to make recipes with Jewelcrafting later on. Okay, so once you're finished with the rough stone statues, next you want to make the tiger's eye band. You'll use those delicate copper wires that you made earlier, as well as the tiger's eye, both super cheap. Keep going ahead and making this until you get to 50. Now you're going to need to go back to the jewel crafting trainer and learn journeyman jewel crafting. Alright, so the next item you'll be making are bronze settings. You'll require 2 bronze bars to create one. Again, do save these ones as well, you will need them later. You may need to create more or less depending on your skill ups, but go ahead and stop once you get to 75. You'll need about 30 of them, so prepare to create about 30. Okay, and next on the list, you're going to be creating solid bronze rings. So use the rest of the bronze bars you have to create these. Depending on your luck, you may only need to create a few of them, but I would recommend keep making them until you run out of bronze bars. You won't need any more bronze bars, and it doesn't go green until you hit Jewelcrafting level 95. So keep making them if you need. So yeah, you can either get those solid bronze rings and do that to 95, or your other option would be to create the elegant silver rings. It requires just 1 silver bar to make it. You can do this up to skill level 90, but I would recommend not using all your silver bars, as you will need to use some later. Now you'll be using the rest of your silver to create the Ring of Silver Might. You'll do this from skill level 90 to 110. Just use the rest of your silver, really, there's no point not to. It doesn't go yellow until 110, so it'll be orange all the way. Next you want to make the heavy stone statues. It requires 8 heavy stone per to create one. You want to create 10 of them until you get to skill level 120. The next part is a little weird. If you want to do it the cheapest way to get from 120 to 150, then you'll need to purchase this recipe at one of the vendors. For the Alliance, it's at Menethil Harbor. So make your way to Menethil. Once you get here, you'll want to enter the main keep. And as you enter the keep, take your first left, take another left, and he'll be in that first corner room. speak to him and buy the recipe. And if you're Horde, you want to make your way down to 1,000 Needles and go to Free Wind Outpost. You'll just want to enter the inn, and to the left will be the vendor that has the recipe. It does look like it might be limited supply, so you may be able to make some gold off this by selling it to other players. So yeah, once you get that recipe, go ahead and learn it, and then you want to use those bronze settings you saved from earlier, and you'll want to create about 30 of these until you hit skill level 150. They should be orange all the way until you hit 150, and it's a great leveling neck for new tunes that are leveling. There's not many options for necklaces at this level, so you may actually be able to sell it to some alts leveling for cheap and make a little bit of your money back. And you'll once again need to go back to the Jewelcrafting trainer, learn your expert jewel crafting. So here you can either make this golden dragon ring if you have the gold bars and jades and whatnot, but I would recommend to just make the mithril filigrees. You will need some of them later, so might as well just make them now, get the skills up. You'll just need to make 40 of these, and you should get to about 180 at least from this. Once you're finished with the mithril filigrees, go ahead and make engraved true silver ring with the true silver bar and those mithril filigrees you just made. You'll make about 20 of them until you get to 200. Alright, now you want to make the citrin ring of rapid healing, and you'll just need a mithril bar, a citrin, and a elemental water. So elemental water is relatively cheap right now. I would definitely imagine it will be going up in the near future, so get it while you can. Make about 10 of them until you get to 210. And once you are finished with that, start making the aquamarine signet. You want to create about 15 of them. This requires aquamarine and a flask of mojo. Create this until you get to 225. You can either keep making the aquamarine signet until 235 when it goes yellow. It doesn't even go green until 250, so you can make it until then. I would recommend, however, making the thorium settings. It'll help you in the future. You will need to use them to get to 300. So make about 50 of these, and it should get you to about 250. If it doesn't, just create some of those aquamarine signets. So once you're 250, you're going to want to make 5 red ring of destructions. Requires 1 star ruby and 1 thorium setting. You want to make that till at least 255. It does go yellow at 255. You can still keep making it until it's green. It is pretty cheap, so you might want to do that instead of the next option. Next, you want to go ahead and make the true silver healing ring. You can make this up until 265. It's also pretty cheap, just requires a couple true silver bars and some Heart of the Wild. So do that until 265. And next you're going to be making the simple opal ring. You can make this up to 275. It only costs 1 large opal and 1 thorium setting, which again you should have from earlier. However, I would recommend to do this all the way up till 285. It doesn't go green until 285, so I would do that because the large opals are typically going to be cheaper than the next option, which is going to be the blue sapphires. I'm sure those will only go up more in price. They're already over 20 gold on my servers, so I would definitely recommend to just keep making this. From 285 to 290, you do have a lot of options, honestly. You can either make this onslaught ring, which is pretty cheap, just 1 powerful mojo, 1 essence of earth, and a thorium setting, which you should have. Or you can make the diamond focus ring, which is probably what you're going to want to end up making, honestly. It is still pretty cheap, just requires 1 Azerothian diamond and 1 thorium setting, so really just go with whatever you want to do. Last but certainly not least of the classic materials is going to be the emerald lion ring. Just requires a huge emerald and more of those thorium settings that we've been using earlier. Just go ahead and make this until you get to 300. Probably need to make about 10 of them. Well, congratulations, now you're on to the actual TBC material. So you actually need to go into your faction's capital in Hellfire Citadel, either Honor Hold for Alliance or Thrallmar for Horde, and speak to the Jewelcrafting trainer. For Alliance, it's in the end, just to the left as soon as you enter. You'll just want to buy all the materials that you want, all the recipes you want, and you'll really be able to make any of them. Doesn't matter which one you make. And yeah, for Horde, you'll just need to go to Thrallmar. It is also directly in the inn. So as soon as you enter the inn, go to the right, and you'll see the Jewelcrafting trainer to your right. Speak to them and buy the recipes. So yeah, I chose to just make this bright blood garnet. It was on the vendor, so it was just easy to make. Again, you can really make whatever gem you want. It doesn't matter. Just keep doing it until you get to about 315 skill level. There's other options you can do as well. There's other rings, but I found this was the most efficient way with the least mats. You could also make the Fel Iron Blood Ring. It'll be orange for the next 5 levels, but again, it is a little bit cheaper just to make the regular gems. Again, from 315 to 320, there's many different options you can do. I chose to do the Flame Specierite because it's actually just sold by the vendors. The other ones require reputation, but this one you can just buy, so it is definitely the easiest to level up with. I would do this till about 320. It does stay yellow, so you can do it for longer if you so choose. If you want to guarantee level ups, though, you can go ahead and do the next one. And that next item is going to be the Azure Moonstone Ring. Costs 1 Fel Iron bar, 2 Azure Moonstone, and then 1 Deep Peridot. So you can make this up until 325. You can make it for longer if you have more mats, but it's only recommended to do to 325. Okay, so this next part's a little weird. You'll need a mercurial stone, which is made by alchemists in order to transmute mercurial adamantite. So you actually need this for the next item you're making. I would highly recommend to get the stone, as you will need it in the future. And that brings me on to the next part, which is the mercurial adamantite. So you will need to be at a forge in order to make this, along with the mercurial stone that you just made in your inventory. You'll want to make about 15 of these, and do save them as you will need them later. Now you're actually going to want to use the mercurial adamantite that you just made and create some heavy adamantite rings. So it'll cost an adamantite bar along with the mercurial adamantite. Create this until you're at 350. Alright, we're almost finished. So next you'll need to make any blue gem, so a noble topaz, star balloon, talosite, living ruby, dawnstone, or a night's eye. They are all world drop recipes, so really whatever you can pick off the auction house or whatever you get first, if it drops for you, just make those. I went ahead and made the bold living rubies just because I knew I could go ahead and profit off those as well, so I can make them and just get some gold back. But yeah, use whatever you get first, really. And I know it does say up to 355, but you can actually do this up until 365. They don't go green until you are 365, so I would recommend keep making those. Alright, the last 10 points. Again, you're just stuck on doing world drop recipes, so whatever you can get first that's over 365 is what you'll need to use. I chose to farm the Chaotic Skyfire Diamond, as you should be able to farm it depending on which patch Blizzard releases TBC Classic on. And you should be able to make a profit just from buying the uncut gems and making these ones, as casters will definitely need these a lot. Farm them here over in Shadow Moon Valley, and you can look on the map right here. This is where they're located. It's only from the Coil Scar Sirens. They're the only ones who can drop it, but it's BOP, so you'll need to farm it out yourself. Well, congratulations, you should be 375 Jewelcrafting now. So get on your way and make some gold and have some fun. Congratulations. Well, if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. If you did like it, please go ahead and hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike. And also leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video. I hope to see you again. Have a good day.